Good morning, everyone. It's Doris Colgate with Steve Colgate on the dock with round two of our dockside chats with Steve. We've had some pretty exciting adventures just being on board racing yachts, and one of them took us up the Pearl River into China. So Steve, tell us how that came about and what happened when we were there.
Yeah, we were in Hong Kong in a racing series against Condor, which is another maxi, almost exactly the same rating and size. It was chartered by Ted Turner, and Gary Jobson was working with him on the boat. And so they were really great competition. And we had this early morning start, around 6:30 in the morning, start from Hong Kong to the entrance of the Pearl River. And the way this was set up, China was closed at that point, and it was almost impossible to get permission to sail into China. And Marvin Green, the owner of Nirvana, worked like crazy. He had lots of contacts with the government and stuff like that, and tried all sorts of ways to get permission to sail into China. Finally, Mike Keyworth, the captain on Nirvana, got it set up for him. And the ways he got it set up was saying that this was a training boat and they were expecting a bunch of young trainees who were much older than young trainees. Anyway, they got it set up, so we raced to the entrance of the Pearl River. Then we picked up some pilots to take us to Guangzhou, which was the old Canton. So we're going up the river with these pilots, and one, it was a very nice fellow, very amenable. We gave him a greenie, a Heineken beer, and he was steering along with his Heineken beer, and we were videotaping him at the same time. So I'm standing near the helm, and I see our navigator, Peter Bowker, is standing in the companionway looking concerned. And I said, "Peter, is there something wrong?" He said, "Yeah, we're not in the channel anymore." And I said, "What course should we have in the channel?" And he gave me some course number. And so I went to the pilot and said, the course is 136. I said, yes, also, yes, 136. I said, "But you're steering 100. And he jumped off the thing and said, "You take." So I took and steered right up into the channel again, and we made it up to Canton without running aground. And up there we were met by our consulate members, and they were so excited because the U.S. consulate members hadn't been able to break the ice with their counterparts, and they came to us and said, "Boy, you set this up, and now we've been able at last to have conversations with our counterparts in the other consulate." Now the one consulate, I thought it was the same one, that just recently has been closed down in China. But if it was anything like the previous consulate problems, they weren't getting much done anyway. So anyway, that was our trip to Canton, and it was a very interesting, exciting trip. Thank you.
So I'm going to break in for a moment and tell you
Good.
what it was what it was like when we got there, because we were greeted not only by officials, we were greeted by large guns as well, because they were very suspicious. But they did put us into a very fancy air-conditioned bus. We were told to pack very lightly, wear very drab clothing, and just pack your toothbrush and not much. You didn't want to stand out. They took us to the fanciest hotel I've been in a long time. Very fancy. And there we were, all these drab people who had plenty of clothes sitting back in Hong Kong, mixed up with a lot of other dignitaries. We weren't dignitaries, but from around the world. And they did take us on a whirlwind tour. And so we got to see China before it was open, and it was pretty darn exciting to do that. But wherever we went, we were greeted by young people who were brought out to meet other students. We were students. We were not students, but they thought we were, and we had some very interesting conversations with them. So there's a lot more we can tell you about these crazy episodes we went through, but this was one that was one for the book, so to speak. So we'll tell you more later. Bye-bye.